Hello students, from today we are going to start our revision part for PA1 as we have completed our PA1 syllabus for class 8. So there are 2 chapters from history, 2 chapters from geography and 3 chapters from civics. Our first chapter is how, when and where. Let's have a quick recap of this chapter. Our first topic is how important are dates. So history is synonymous with dates. It is about changes that occur over a period of time. It is about finding out how things were in the past and how they have changed present and as well as in the past, you can say. So it is history similar with the dates. The changes occurs which is occurring in a period of time, and the finding of the things what was happened in the past and how it was changed. Now it is however incorrect to date the process that happened over a period of time. We cannot just put a whole process in particular date. Like we cannot fix one single date on which British has ruled the British has established their kingdom, or the national movement was started, or the changes took place within the economy and society, because all this stuff was not happen in just one day. It took a period of time, a process, and it could be taken several years also. So we cannot put these things into one particular date. So we can only refer to a span of time, an approximate period over which particular changes become visible. So we are putting them into a span of time, or approximate period where this kind of changes occurred. Now there are certain events like birth, death, war, succession, etc., which can be dated. So because these all are happening in just one day, birth, the death, war, succession, everything is happening in one just day. So it is a event. So we can put these things into a date. Now historians talk about issues like livelihood, development, formation of kingdom, social and cultural changes. So this we have to look after into the period of time, a span of time. Now which date? There are so many dates, so which date has to be considered as the important one? So date become an important when we focus on the particular event, as I said, like birth, death, war, succession. So that is a particular event, so we focus on that. So that date becomes important, like king's death time, or the date when he has born, when he was crowned, etc. So that all become an important date. When we write history or a story, we divide into it chapters. We divide it into the chapters. So if we are writing about history, a king's history, so we are writing a story. So we divide it into the chapters. Exemplary his childhood, when he was grown up, when he was married, or in the later ages. So we can divide the history of a person or a king into a several chapters. That could be easy to read also, and to understand also, and to know about that particular person also. So it is to tell a story in a way that makes some sense and can be followed. So for this it is being done. In the process, we focus only on those events that help us to give shape to the story we are telling. So generally, if we are talking about the king, then what we used to do, we just talk about that particular person or about that particular events, but to shape a history. But we forgot about the other people also. Their wives also would be there, or their family members, or the kingdom which he was ruling, the common people at that time. So we forget about them because we are focusing on one particular event or one particular persons. So it helps us to shape the story. So we are always focusing on one thing. Now how do we periodize? So from Britishers, James Mill a Scottish economist, philosopher. He divided Indian history into three periods. As we said that date cannot be considered, so James Mill has divided Indian history into three periods, that is Hindu, Muslim and British. So we divide history into different periods to capture the characteristics of time, its central features as they appear to us. This shows the changes from one period to the next. So period of time from Hindu to Muslim, what changes occurred, what happened, everything can be recognized and could be understood. And from Muslim to Britishers, what were the changes, who were the rulers, what were the economic development, social development, political development. In all three cases can be understood if it is divided into periods. Now apart from this, historians have usually divided Indian history into ancient, medieval and modern, based on the Western concept where growth was associated with the science, reason, democracy, liberty and equality. So this was being divided on the basis of the Western concept. But the three periods again that was being done by historians. The ancient, when nothing was being you can say changed, that was the early people living in ancient time. Here is a medieval, when some changes occurs in the living of people, political development, kingdom, like kingdoms and all, rulers came, the people developed with the different occupations, trading, communication, etc. Now from here to in better way, so this medieval and moderns are considered the continuous process. So this was the Western concept what historians were looking into, because it was considered the growth period of according with the science, reason, democracy, liberty and equality, which was not available in ancient and not much available in medieval, and that was available in the modern period because we understood about these concepts. So slowly and steadily we got all these concepts in our life. So we will continue with this question answers. Before that, two topics are left. What is colonial? The British came to conquer the country and establish their rule, subjugating local Nawab and Rajas. So colonization also, one country which is subjugating the other country, that is called as colonization. So British came over here to conquer the country. First they came as a trader, later on they started conquering the Indian country. Now they started from the local Nawabs and Rajas. That was the easy way. They established control over the economy and society, collected revenue to meet all their expenses, bought the goods they wanted at low prices, produced crop they needed for export. This we have learnt in detail in our chapter explanation. If you want more to understand in detail, then go through the videos. So here is what kind of control they took, that was economic. So social or society, you can say, they were collecting revenue to meet their expenses. Before they were just bringing money from their own regions for their expenses and to purchase the goods, but later on as they took control over here, they started using the expenses by using the money of collected revenue. So they were purchasing all the goods in low prices, and that was being sold out in their own regions in higher prices. Even though they also produced the crops what they needed, that were grown in India forcefully. Now how do we know? Administration produced records. The British believed that the act of writing was very much important to understand it better. Every instructions, plan, policy, decision, agreement, investigation had to be clearly written up, which could be studied and debated. So they believed that it should be written. So later on it could be studied also and it could be debated also. So everything is being in written form. Record room were attached to the old administrative institution. To keep these documents, they also established or constructed a record room nearby the administrative institutions. By the mid 19th century, with the spread of printing, multiple copies of these records were printed. So, as we know, before it was being copied by the scribes, but later on, with the spread of printing presses, so multiple copies were able to be printed out, and these records were found in the printed form. Surveys become important. How they started conquering our regions. So, as they believe in writing all the documents, the other thing was to establish a rule. Surveys also become an important part. So the British believed that a country had to be properly known before it could be effectively administered. So how it is possible? By the surveys. Thus began the practice of surveys. Census operations were conducted every 10 years. Census operation means here population counting. It was conducted every 10 years. Now various other surveys like botanical, zoological, archaeological, anthropological, forest, etc. were conducted to know the regions in better way. So by understanding the regions, they can conquer that region and they can establish their rules. Now what official records do not tell us? Official surveys tell us what the official thought, what they were interested in, and what they wished to preserve for posterity. So these records only tell the one side story only, you can say in the other word, that what the officers are thinking about that and in what topic they are interested. So that portion only was being written up in the surveys. Now we need to take into account other sources for detailed and correct information like diaries of people, account of pilgrims and travelers, autobiographies of important personality and popular booklets. So as I said, this is only one side of the story about the survey. If you want to know, just an example, if botanical, if they are doing the survey of botanical department, just knowing about the plants and trees. So what happened? So different regions is having different plants and trees, but in different regions the other people also used to live. So what about them? We are not knowing about them anything, or the other things also what is important over there, and about the people also. So from where we can get the information? From all this stuff like diaries of the people, account of pilgrims and travelers, autobiographies of important personality. So from this we can just get the information what was being missed out in these surveys which were being written by the British officials. So here all the topics we have completed. Wait for the second part of video to complete the worksheets question answer.